Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Howler for an Hour. We're starting off today's Howler with something a little bit chill. This is Camping Vlog Simulator 2024. Yes, it's one of those simulator games that's just trying to do like one particular experience, and I don't know, man. This one looked kind of chill, so I figured I'd pick it up, check it out, because chill is good sometimes. Also, one thing that impressed me about this trailer, and if you watched enough Howler for an Hour, you know why I'm saying this. But one thing I was impressed by was it looked really nice. But I also noticed that not all the foliage was just moving. Like every tree leaf, every grass blade, it wasn't all moving. Some of it might be moving, but it wasn't all moving. I was like, wow, they cared about the performance of the forest environment the game is set in. And I was like, you know what? I'll pick up the game then. Like that was like my literal like review key decision. Like, yes, I will take this review key because it looks like you've optimized the foliage. Like that makes such a big difference for me now. So I thought I'd check it out. It also just seemed like a chill kind of premise. You're just being a camper, doing camping. It's kind of a survival crafting game, effectively, as far as I could tell. But with a kind of a lower stakes vibe. So, yeah, let's check this one out. Of course, before we begin, if you like the video, do think about giving it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can think about doing that as well. But if you really want to help out, think about coming over to Twitch. We're trying to reach partner over here, but we need more viewers to do that. So if you want to come by, whether to lurk or to talk, think about doing so, because it really does help out. We'd honestly love to have you, and I do like to say hello to new people. Speaking of which, we had some new people show up today, because I started today by testing Helldivers 2, which might be a stream in the future. Just to see if it worked, and it actually worked right fine, and we got a raid and new people. So thank you, all new people here. Really appreciate you guys being here. Hope you can stick around. We also have a pretty cool Discord server if you want to check that out. I got a coffee link if you want to help directly monetize my content, and I have a merch store if you want to buy some cool stuff. Links are in the description. I think you can also pull them up through commands on Twitch here. Yeah, check them out if you feel like it. Sirius says, I feel ignored. The 1 hour time limit is flexible. This is true. The music is chill. Let's have it a bit more loud. I responded to your second to last comment, Sirio. I didn't respond to the 1 hour time limit. Like, why do you feel ignored? I've been talking to you. You're not ignored. I sometimes miss messages, but I don't ignore people generally. That's an active effort sort of thing, ignoring people. I don't generally. The only time I ignore people is if I'm upset with them. But if I'm upset with them, I usually just let them know. You know. Never mind. No. Like, what's up? But let's go ahead and start this game up, too. So, it has levels? Okay, sure. Between the trees. An exciting level where you'll play among the trees. I don't know why, but that description is funny to me. An exciting level. Exciting camping adventure. Camping is exciting sometimes, but I always consider camping to be more of like a chill vibe sort of thing. Whoa! I spawned in and immediately looked straight up. Okay. Oh, there's some light going on. Well, the trees aren't moving, but neither is my frame rate. I'm tired. Probably. Maybe you should. Oh, you cannot. One second. You can't edit the options in game. You have to go back to the title screen to actually edit things like video and such. I was noting one thing that kind of did bother me. If you look, you can see that the graphic setting is just low, medium, and high. Oh, whoa. Which is a little bit not good, because that means that all the graphical options are tied behind a basic slider, and I can't do micro adjustments on most things. I do appreciate they let me turn on motion blur specifically, but this graphic setting here is doing a lump sum of different things, and those different things really should be available to the player as individual options for curation of the experience. Developers, don't be lazy with your options menu. Provide the player as many options as possible. Don't just lump everything into a general graphic settings. Never do that. Like, you need to actually provide people customization and options. Yeah, motion blur is actually off there. I'm going to lower the settings and go back in. Wait. I turned motion blur off, and I know I have a slideshow here, but if you pay really close attention... Yeah, that motion blur ain't off, guys. Take a look. I literally had motion blur off, but motion blur is not off. Oh, wow, even moving my mouse around is glitchy. Wow. Yeah, that's not off. It's getting laggy. Yeah, it is. When I saw the foliage wasn't moving, I thought they were optimizing their game. It doesn't look like they are. So give me a second as I. This is the famous stage for Howler for an Hour where Charm edits the game config guy and I to actually change graphical settings since they didn't let me do that myself, that I need to. Badly optimized games usually also have terrible options, but usually you can access better options by simply going into the right folder. Because most games are made in Unity and Unreal, and those engines usually have config files you can edit stuff in. So let me see. This is a Unity game, by the way, which I kind of figured. It felt like Unity. So let's see. There are two places where the save file could be. Let's start with the in the game folder location. Then we'll go to the user's app data folder for the other one, which is probably where it is actually. Let's see. Boot config. Yeah, it's just GFX enabling native. Okay, yeah, that's all just standard. All right. So we have, Campy VLOG Simulator 2024 is the name of it. So let's see if we can find it in app data. So this is a fun thing we do on Howler for an Hour where we fix the game for the developer. Because Howler for an Hour is typically a lot of unknown and indie games, which is fun. I found the folder. It was in local low. Oh, no, it's just the player log. There's no config file here. That won't help me. They might have a second app data folder then. I will look. Okay. Nope, doesn't look like it. Okay, so the only app data folder is a log folder. That doesn't help me any. But yeah, that's a problem. I like to play a lot of random indie unknown stuff for Howler for an Hour, but the problem with random indie stuff is that some indie developers don't know what the hell they're doing, and you have broken games sometimes. This game looks like many of the games that this issue comes up on. It's a game that looks like it could be fun if I could run it right. And mind you, I don't have the strongest system. I will disclaimer, I don't have the world's strongest system, but it's a competent system. And as we saw earlier, I was just running Helldivers 2, which was fairly intensive, and it was fine. So if you optimize, if the developer optimizes their game correctly, I usually have no issues. But if the developer kind of messes that up, then I do have issues, and that's not my fault. So the app data folder was a bust. It was just a log file. I'm going to check the documents folder as well. So that's also where you can find game folders sometimes. Okay. Not this time, though. All right. If that's the case, then I guess I'll go back to the games folder. And just look one more time in it. But yeah, there's a config file on my computer somewhere, but I don't know where this game has put it. It probably put it somewhere weird. I don't know how long it's been, but Honest Opinions of Tribal Hunter, it's pretty good. It's not like the world's best game, but as far as the game goes, it's still very competent. Admittedly, the fatting aspect does slow down the game sometimes. Like it does, it's more of a tedious platformer at times because of its mechanics that obviously a lot of furries like and such. But oh wait, hold on, is this settings.json? What the hell? Oh, that's just like Unity settings, not actual. Localization strings. Wait, hold on. Turkish. I was right. The other language is Turkish. I found localization language streams. Like I can actually verify that was Turkish. Let's see. Yeah, so I might just be at a loss with this one. Let me guess too. If I do this. By the way, this is actually a case where, like, yeah, you guys were having a complete slideshow. It wasn't much better for me. Sometimes I have a game where if I stream it, the rendering is the stream rate is really bad on it, and that's too bad. But sometimes I have a game that actually just is so shittily optimized that it also just doesn't really work well for me either. Yeah, I can't find its config file. So Jeez, this one might be a very short video. Let's see if I can think of any other places it could be. Oh my god. For anyone with red. Oh my god. So there is one more thing I could try, but it's stupid. You know your registry editor? Apparently, for Unity, sometimes you could find the configuration through your registry editing, which is just fucking stupid. And also, I don't recommend doing for most people. Don't edit your registry unless you really know what you're doing, by the way. But sure, what the hell? Let's see if it's there. It does make sense, though. Most games do generate a config in such a way where you will have registry keys. So, the Steam page have something you could somebody could check for me if they wanted to. I'm just gonna go fast. Let's see. I need to remember the name of the studio that made this because it's probably under that name. This was made by the way, for those wondering, I'll just give a little info while we're messing around here. This game was made by Fluxidate Studio and Tayfun Tuna. This game cost $4.99, which maybe should have been a warning sign. The reviews are mixed. Reviews include a lot of Chinese reviews for some reason. Some people say it's chill. Somebody said the review is biased, so that's polite of them to just like say that. Let's see. A lot of complimentary reviews. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, that seems dodgy. So I found a review. This is really weird. It's a negative review that says Steam is rife with fake and copy paste reviews. The forums are toxic and endorse censorship. Click here to see real gameplay analysis and honest reviews, and it links to a YouTube video. I've never run into this before. So somebody was shilling their YouTube video on Steam. That's not unusual. Shilling your YouTube video to a Steam review is pretty normal. But I went to the video. Look at this. Members only content. Join this channel to get access to members only content like this video and other exclusive perks. Excuse me, sir. Did you just shill your YouTube video on a game in the Steam review section? And also that video I have to pay money for? You're just as... I like, again, this video here that is members only content, thus he's charging money to watch it. This comes from the guy who also said this. I'll show the review. As you can see, it's for the same person. Look at the review name. See? They don't recommend this game. They say that the Steam is rife with fake and copy-paste reviews. The forums are toxic, endorse censorship, and he's like, click here to see real gameplay. Like, click here for a good review, and then you have to pay for it. This person is just as bad as the people he's calling out. What the hell? Man, these people are biased and they do fake shill reviews and shit. You should come over to my channel where I'm shilling my reviews, which aren't fake, but you also get charged if you want to watch them. Haha, I'm much better. I'm a much better person. Like, what the hell? I know this is slightly off topic to the point of the Howler, but holy crap, what the hell is this shit? Like, what the hell? Andrew kind of has that vibe, honestly. That's the only negative review, though, which is curious because I actually think the guy might be right, though. I am wondering if these reviews here's our experience so far. Let me go back to the game. So if I've tried to like legitimately play this, if I started this up, so this is the frame rate I get. It kind of runs okay for me right now on low settings, but it wants me to like play. Let's play the slideshow for a bit. So it wants me to place my camera, so I'm going to place the camera there. I've done it. And this has a bunch of tasks for me to do, which, okay, fair enough, campy tasks. This seems chill. If the game was running okay, this would be fine. But this is the frame rate we got. So as I'm just going to sit here and let you guys enjoy the frame rate while I switch over to the reviews. And so let's look at these. Look, here's just the reviews for this game, right? This is a very neat experience. I do recommend it for sure. This was a really fun game to check out. That's a very generic review. Pause the review. Game good. Pause the review. Pause the review. A great chill experience for who wants to take a break from reality. So sit back, relax, and just have fun by being in the nature while being occupied with simple camping tasks. If you can't go camping, this sim got you covered. Soothing graphics soundtrack. In short, better than Prozac. So we have generic review, really short review that sounds like it's trying to advertise the game. Before I continue on with the review of this game, I'll get some context needs to be heard. For starters, I am biased with this product. I watched it be developed in a handful of months after hearing about it on Reddit. While I was still searching for a true camping simulator style game, there are other others out there. And while this game still isn't exactly what I wanted, I think it's a well thought out title. Goes on to say a lot more. Well, to be fair, this seems like an actual review, but he already said he's biased. So, the ugly. There is none, at least not really. Yeah, the frame rate's not ugly at all. Take a break from all the bullet hells, action games, and such alike. With this game, you can take a break, relax, and enjoy the slow-paced camping experience. Oh, hold on. This review says, so sit back, relax, just have fun by the nature by being occupied with simple cats. This person's like, take a break, relax. Oh my god, these are paid reviews. These are absolutely paid reviews. So this shilling YouTube person is correct, though. Progressy free. Here's a real review. This is a very relaxing game, but it feels incomplete for a stimulator type game. There's not much you can do with both levels, and the game just being a slightly different part of the same map. You don't get all the side objectives done because to do the meat cook, you can't have a kettle for the drink objective. Oh, what? You can't do all this? Wait, you literally can't complete all the side objectives because some of them require the same resources and you only have so many? What the hell? Graphics are nice and the noises are very relaxing regardless. Would recommend if you just want to virtually sit in the woods and listen to sounds. Side note though, the ambient noises are marked as copyright on Twitch so you could get streamers in trouble. VOD got muted 6 times to the sounds of the name Rainforest Nature Toads. Would be nice to see new areas and varieties of objects to provide different experiences. Yes, we're at a point here where sounds can be copyrighted. Sounds about right though. So some of these reviews are real, but can we all agree that some of these reviews are absolutely fake? First off, probably most of them. But look at this. Just look how many positive reviews there are here. This is not normal, especially for a game that is admittedly a little generic, especially now that I see the quality is not up to task. Still has mixed though. Yeah, so bad, dodgy vibes of this development studio. I think they paid for reviews. That's never a good sign. There are some honest Chinese people here, probably. Let me translate these. Hold on. I need actually let me translate these myself. Okay. I'm going to read the translation of this review. If you think it's worth the price, it's a good product. However, it was impossible for me, who is picky about noise. Refunded 20 minutes. First, the environmental sounds. 2 types of sound repeat no matter where you walk. Leaf sound even in the water. Constant leaf sound even when jumping. And a natural repeating footsteps sound. A mysterious poor player who can only hold one branch. Reality-oriented craftsmanship. In other words, the arrangement of the tools is very pop-like, or rather animation-rich. I fainted. Next is operability. Terrible. It stops at a slight step. The music and ambient sounds seem to be from a very low budget. The great graphics are ruined by other elements. All you have to do is watch a gameplay video on YouTube. Why did they choose something so poppy and smartphone-like for the UI and font? I wish it was something inorganic. The faces of the characters that appear in the menu also look like those of a smartphone game. We already made that observation. I'm not good at it. I no longer have the pleasure of operating it myself. It's too stressful. Also, I got tired of the fact that you can't move freely unless you complete a task from the beginning, which is too much like the current game. Why do I have to follow the instructions on the screen in a camping game? It's true. You should be able to do your own freedoms thing if it's a camping game. It just seems to be a task list, though. Basic task list. I expected the price to be a little high as I had high expectations, but it turned out to be the complete opposite. I had the impression that it was probably created by a novice engineer. Disappointing. I love reading Chinese reviews. I'm going to read this one too. It actually was pretty good. Like, it has some odd English when I translated, but there was a discussion posted about graphics options. Apparently, there was no option to turn off motion blur first, and someone complains so the dev added an option. Yeah, except for as we saw, though it's a slideshow, if you disable motion blur, it still is on. Probably, you know why? Speaking from experience, the reason the motion blur is still on, which I'll try to make it obvious for you guys. You see it in the background, right? That motion blur is on. So, you know what? Having experience with poorly made Unity games, let me tell you what's going on here. We go to the settings here. Again, let's just go right over to this. You can see motion blur is off. But here's the thing. Knowing Unity games and bad Unity games, here's what the developer probably did. They gave a motion blur setting on the main menu. And mind you, you cannot change the options in-game. There's no settings menu in-game once you're actually playing. So the developers did add a motion blur option on the main menu. And it probably works. However, little thing about Unity I've noticed, there's numerous developers that have made an options menu for their game. And you can set it however you like. But the moment you load a new map, such as going from the title screen of a game to the first area of the game, or going from the first area of the game to another area of the game, like going indoors to a new map or whatever, anytime the game loads a new map, the settings return to their default states. And either need to be changed again end-game if you're lucky every single time you change maps, or if there aren't an in-game settings menu, you're just kind of screwed. So what is probably going on here is that motion blur does correctly disable for the main menu, but then when you actually start the game, it defaults back to on. So the motion blur in this game is so bad it caused Switch to buffer on my end. Yes, it is also causing things to break for my stream goers, and that is the biggest sign that a game is a piece of crap, when it is rendering so bad that XSplit attempting to pick it up is breaking Twitch. This has happened before. It is not your internet. It is not my internet. It is purely the game breaking things through its encoding stupidity. Also, I don't know why there's a money counter out there. Anyways, let me read the second Chinese review. Too little content. There are only 2 maps. I agree. Like, it looks like just a task list. It looks like you get dropped in the forest. You have a task list. You do the task, you probably beat the level, and then you play the second level, do a new task list, beat that, and then you're done with the game. So it sounds like a really basic game, even if we got it running correctly. So yeah, too little content, says the Chinese review. There is only 2 maps, camping in a seemingly open space. There are actually invisible walls everywhere. Oh, that's lame. You can walk around the venue in 2 minutes. Go to the venue and fix the moves. You do have to follow the order he specified, and don't miss it. Otherwise, I won't give you the next step. Place all items in location. Look for garbage. Look for mushrooms. Look for branches. After searching, I couldn't go to bed until very late. After sleeping, I recycle the things I left behind. The trunk is forced not to be closed for you. Then they will let you take the camping lantern and drive away directly. Camping that seems very comfortable actually has various restrictions. The store in the lobby really looks like game screenshots. Not much to buy. Get it for 91 yuan. A small map for 45 yuan. I think it's expensive. It probably is. It's a $5 game that has two maps, which are the same location with different task lists. You do the basic task list, you're done. There's invisible walls everywhere, so you're confined to a small space. This is a camping game, and they lined the actual playable area with invisible walls. So you can't even explore in a camping game. What the hell? The black square is actually me. That is my little there. That was actually my little feed for the Steam reviews. Don't worry about the square. That was not anything scary. So yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna do one more thing though. So I feel like even without having played this game, I very much understand it now, thanks to the reviews. So at least the ones that aren't literally paid reviews, because the paid reviews, they're very obviously paid when you look at the real reviews. The real reviews explain how the game is, and I read like 4 different reviews that were real reviews from completely different people, and they spoke about the game in similar ways. It's not very long, confined to an area, just it's a task list, 2 levels, and yeah, I saw 2 levels myself in the list. I thought more would unlock later. No, apparently not. Oh yeah, here we go. Fluxinate Studio. I found the registry keys for the game. Wow. So this is how I have to edit the game if I want to. I'll show you guys. I'm not going to show you all my registry because that's privacy. That is a privacy concern. But yeah, I found the registry for this shit. This is so if you want to edit the options of the game, go into your registry editor and edit the registry keys for this shit. Why? Don't, by the way. I don't recommend that unless you really know what you're doing. And in my case, I don't actually know what I'm doing here because it's oh my god, it's not even using a normal 0, 1, yes, no, on, off, high, low sort of setting. It's using registry D words, so I don't even know what this means. Check this shit out. So all those settings are tied to registry D words, which basically, oh my god, look at this. No, okay, I'll show you guys all of this because I think it's okay to share this. I'll show part of it at least. Not all of it. But I will show a portion of the whole registry. Look at this shit. So, I'll just show you guys like a section of it here, which I think is fine to share. So, if you look here, so you see height default, 768. You see that 768? That is 768 resolution by 1080 resolution for height. This is how this works, right? The D words do translate into 0, 1s. So here's full screen mode. Full screen mode 1. If I set that to full screen mode 0, it'd probably be windowed. And if I set it to 2, it'd probably be window full screen. Motion blur, 0. That is actually off at the moment. Game language is set to 0, which is English. But look at this. Invalid D word, 32-bit value. Audio effects, invalid. Audio environment, invalid. Master volume, invalid. Audio music, invalid. Control sensitivity, invalid. They literally have broken registry keys. There are broken registry keys in this game's registry list. They didn't set the registry keys correctly. Oh, that's dangerous. Look at this shit. I'm pretty sure that this being invalid is actually something that could crash a computer. I'll show you guys this part. Look at this. Video draw distance, invalid D word. Video frame rate limit, invalid D word. If you have invalid registry keys for determining the frame rate of a game, that could be very bad for somebody's computer. I'm pretty sure. I'm not a super big computer expert. But if the inherent internal registry keys do have an invalid value for something so basic as draw distance and frame rate, that is extremely concerning. But also, yeah, there's not really a lot of good options here. There's a graphics quality of 2. Oh, interesting. Yeah, there's a graphics quality option, and it's set to a 2 right now. I'm going to make exactly one change to the registry, because I trust myself with this one change. Again, do not edit a registry unless you know what you're doing. But I will change this 2 to a 0. And we'll see if the game is actually going to run at that point. Okay. And I bet you for other Howlers that we played, which have similar issues, it may also be broken registry keys for those as well. So let's run this one more time because I'm curious if this changed anything. I have lowered the so the graphics were set to low, but low was 2. And 2 is not the lowest. 0 would be the lowest. So I moved it to 0. They have such a nice logo. That's the only thing they cared about, I think. Also, a game by Tayfun Tuna. I don't know who Tayfun Tuna is, but I don't think they should be proud of this. Anyway, so I've lowered the settings. Can I play the game now? Maybe 0 is high. No, it's definitely not. You know what? I'm just going to Do the thing it asked me to. So let's see how quickly I can complete this mission. You guys will have a slideshow? I'm sorry. I'll try to do it fast so you guys don't have too much buffering. But I'm just gonna run around. I also want to see about these invisible walls. So like we got this big old forest here. I'm just gonna go for a wander and see how big the area is. Also, yeah, these forest sounds I've heard before. These are very stock, and I'm not surprised to hear they get copyright claimed. So somebody definitely copyright claims these ones. Yep, there's an invisible wall here. So I'm not even that far away from the car, and I already hit a visible wall. All right. There's a trampoline up here. Invisible wall. Hit it just now. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna turn the game off. I would like to try to complete the task list to just see just how short this game is. But if it's gonna buffer the hell out of my viewers, I'm not accepting that. So that's fine. I wanted to see if I could do a little bit before I buffered you guys, but I don't think I can. So that is fair. Let me turn that off again. So we're back here. We're just gonna close out. We're gonna close this out. That was a half hour of bullshit. Camping Vlog Simulator 2024. The gameplay doesn't sound very worthwhile. It sounds like a waste of time. Like, if you're going to make a camping simulator, yeah, basic task lists like that, that's fine. Like, doing basic tasks around the camp to, like, advance things, that's cool. But, like, let the player actually wander the map. There were invisible walls, like, all over the place. Very short, very small area. If you're going to make a camping game, let the player explore. Let the player have, like, optional things they can find out in the wild. Maybe track animal tracks or, photograph animals as they see them around the forest, or, find little collectibles like flowers or something. Like, oh, I'll collect this flower, press this flower in the book or something. Shit like that. But no, it's just a really lame taskless game. So even if I struggled to get this working really well by doing some crazy loop-de-loops with the game's programming and code and configurations, what we would get out of it is a really basic, boring game that doesn't really simulate much of anything. I thought simulators are supposed to be deep experiences, but that word gets used for games all the time that are just complete trash. Nonetheless, there are still good games that use the word simulator. And that is why I like to check them out now and then. Because sometimes you run into some good stuff, like the power washing simulator game, for instance. Charm Fixes game, Charm Unbreaks game, Charm Roast game. Oh, this is all very true. As well as Charm Breaks games. I do break games sometimes too, but Charm is good points games. But see, there is still a value to these streams. I realize that some people watching Howler for an Hour might wonder, why do you play these trash games? Well, the truth is, these are first impressions. These are blind, let's load this game up and see what happens. So I can never tell you if these games are shitty in advance. I can't curate my review keys. If I get a review key for a game, I have to review it. That is the rule. That's not only the rule of the sites I get the review keys from, but also just a personal rule. If I've received a game for free, I will review it. That is a rule. The only exception to that rule is if the game is free to begin with. That makes a review key kind of pointless. But if I have received a paid product for free, I will review it. Even if that review is mostly a roast and barely any gameplay, I will still review it. I will still give it a fair review. And that is what we have done today. And that is what I will do with these games. And I do apologize for those watching Howler and are like, oh man, it's one of those trash games. I'm bored now. I'm sorry. I will try to keep them shorter from now on. But I definitely still want to give a review because that is my job. I have been given the key for this purpose, so I will still do it. It is just simply, it's a bit of a what's the word? Honor thing. It's an honor thing, right? Yeah, I want to stay honorable to my objectives. So, but yeah, this game's trash. Even if it did work properly, it would be trash. But because it doesn't work properly, it's like double trash. It's like a whole trash bin of trash bags rather than just one trash bag. And yeah, so gave this game a fair shake. Yeah, I tried to keep it interesting. When I edit the config files and stuff, that part's always a little bit boring, but I want to do that to see if I can fix the game for the devs. That's always an interesting little thing for me. I do find it kind of fun to see if, like, all right, this game is crap. Can I make it uncrap for the developers? Because if I can make a game uncrap by basically editing internal configurations that the developer did not provide the player to edit in-game, then that's saying something, right? Like, first off, it sometimes lets us actually experience games that we wouldn't otherwise be able to experience, which is interesting. And sometimes they're even a little bit good, despite having terrible options menus. Um, but also, it also is a little bit of a call out to the developer, saying, "Hey, developer, look what I did that you didn't allow the player to do in the game. Look at the experience I was able to make by editing these things, by doing the boring stuff of editing registry keys or config files and such." And they basically that just calls out the dev and basically puts it on them, like, "Hey, why don't you provide these options now? Look what I did," you know. So, and that could improve a game. So that's why I do it. Hey, dev, do your job exactly. But yeah, it's annoying being like Howler for an Hour it is annoying sometimes how many times I run into indie games that have just this utterly horrible performance. This is hardly the first game that has buffered my stream. We have seen this before, right? Those of you longtime viewers, you know what I mean. We have seen games that make it seem like your internet is cutting out. Not my internet, your own internet, as you just try to watch me play the game. Seems like it's cutting out. It breaks Twitch. It breaks my Twitch page, these games. And that's just impressive when you get down to it. It's impressively bad, but impressive all the same. Game also uses AI, so minus 50 points. Yeah, I do think that these are AI generated. That would make a lot of sense. There's even that one Wizard demo that had this problem. I don't remember the title either, but yeah, probably. Yeah, we did experience this with a couple MMOs, I think, as well for Howler for an Hour. But yeah, so that's all I have to say on this game. Developer, do your fucking job and actually fix your game. I mean, it's a pretty shitty game in the first place. It's absolutely not worth $5. Even if it ran perfectly, this game would still be shitty because it. I mean, I couldn't personally examine all the content due to how things were running, but seeing reviews and my own experiences of looking around it a little bit, I think those reviews are accurate. This game is utterly short, has very little to do. You're stuck in a very enclosed area. There's nothing here. It's just basic walk around 3D environment, do task list, done. You're done. That's it. Game over. Thanks for your $5. Fuck off. That is basically the experience of the game. And yeah, $5 is ridiculous for this. This isn't, in my opinion, that experience that I just described. Maybe that's worth providing it somebody for free. Like maybe that'd be worth having a free game that you just released because you're like, oh, I'm a new developer and I made this really simple kind of taskless game and I just like people to test it. Here's a free game. I put it on itch.io, whatever. Like that would make sense. But charging money for that? No. This was Cappy Vlog Simulator. It simulates a lot of bad. You know what it's more accurately a simulator of? It's more accurately a perfect poster child simulator of the problem with lazy Unity and Unreal Engine devs. Unity devs in this case. This simulates all the problems I have with indie games that are poorly and lazily made, and are just literally cash grabs. This is one of them. So it does a good job simulating the cash grab experience. That is all I have to say on this one. Let's move on to the next game.